Reading the title of this piece might lead someone to expect a detailed discussion about the finer points of intimate acts from seasoned experts. However, this is not quite what you'll find here. Instead, the focus is on intimate connections specifically within the context of a relationship shared between partners. It's about giving and receiving in a relationship, not just physically, but emotionally and with thoughtful communication. Have you ever anticipated receiving a particular gift for a special occasion, like your birthday or during the holiday season? Perhaps you dropped hints, gave subtle nudges to those close to you who might be considering what to give. You pictured unwrapping the perfect present, something that exactly matched your desires. But when the day arrived and you tore open the wrapping paper, the reality was quite different. The gift wasn't what you were hoping for, or even close to it. Despite that, you felt the social obligation and the genuine gratitude to appreciate the effort behind their choice. After all, it is the thought that counts, right? On the flip side, think about the gift giver's perspective. Sometimes, instead of grasping what the partner wants, the giver makes a choice based on their own preferences or assumptions. They believe that getting something, anything, is enough, and they expect the receiver to be thrilled no matter what. This tends to create a subtle disconnect. The recipient wears a polite smile, internally disappointed but offering thanks. The giver feels good about their choice and expects everything to be perfect. Neither person voices the true feelings, and this little dance of give and take becomes a form of polite pretending. Everyone has been there at some point, caught between gratitude and unspoken disappointment. With that in mind, please allow me to share a personal perspective that comes from years of learning about intimacy and partnership. Back in the 1970s, when both my partner and I were in our early 20s and dating, we were not yet practicing Christians. Our experiences then were shaped by the culture and energy of youth. Those were times of discovery, exploration, and frankly, a sense of excitement that comes with new experiences and rushes of youthful hormones. We embraced physical intimacy with enthusiasm and little concern for discretion. It was common to share moments of closeness in a variety of places, often unexpectedly. I vividly remember the satisfaction and joy that came with knowing I could bring happiness to my partner through acts that were as intimate as they were simple, just the touch or focus of attention, focused on pleasing the other, and vice versa, he could return that pleasure, ensuring that I also experienced moments of great delight and connection. At that stage, everything felt right with the world. The physical closeness reinforced the emotional bond we felt. However, as time went by, we discovered that not every experience was enjoyable or fulfilling. There were moments, small or significant, that felt uncomfortable, awkward, or simply not pleasurable for one or both of us. Naturally, no one wants to do something for their partner that feels unpleasant or forced. So gradually, those activities were dropped or avoided. Little by little, what remained were the things we both knew to do comfortably and thought were enjoyable. But herein lies the potential pitfall. If you never talk about what you truly enjoy or dislike, the connection begins to narrow, limiting the full expression of intimacy. This brings us to the heart of the matter: communication. Sexual or intimate communication is more than just talking about what feels good or what to try next. It involves opening up honestly about your desires, boundaries, and preferences while also listening attentively to your partner's needs and wishes. It's a two-way street where both partners engage genuinely and vulnerably. When you give with an intention to bring happiness to your partner, not simply what you want to give, it turns the act into a deeper gift. Many agree that the greatest joy in intimate moments comes from the ability to respond spontaneously and lovingly to your partner. When you can intuitively do what pleases them without expecting anything in return, it creates a powerful emotional and physical connection. Of course, often the energy flows both ways naturally, but the key is that it begins with giving freely and openly. I recall occasions when one of us would be reclining comfortably on a mattress, floor, or couch, and the other would focus entirely on bringing the partner pleasure. In those times, the person giving might find themselves physically moving in rhythm with their desire to please, lost in the excitement of the moment. These natural reactions underpin the profound bond that comes from intimacy shared with care and enthusiasm. It's important to mention one of the biggest mistakes couples can make, assuming they already know everything there is to know about being physically close. Intimacy is an ever-evolving journey, and what excites or pleases changes over time, with moods, health, and life experience. Worse is to expect your partner to settle for how things have always been and not grow together through honest conversation and mutual exploration. Life inevitably brings many distractions: children, jobs, homes, responsibilities, and these can clutter your privacy and reduce opportunities for sharing those special moments. However, maintaining communication and prioritizing intimacy is essential for a healthy bond, especially as your relationship matures. In time, we entered marriage, built a life together, faced challenges, and grew in faith. Along the way, we encountered many voices offering opinions on what is right or wrong about intimacy and relationships. While some advice was valuable, not all voices aligned with the truths of what worked for us. It's crucial to discern what truly speaks to the needs of you and your partner, rather than simply accepting external judgments. At the end of the day, appreciating the gift of a partner's attention, care, and communication is like unwrapping a present of connection that is continuously given and received. When you approach intimacy with openness, patience, and a heart willing to listen and learn, the experience becomes a beautiful dance of mutual love and respect, far beyond any expectations or preconceived notions. There is a unique thrill that comes with being able to spontaneously share intimate moments in a way that truly resonates with your partner, without the expectation of reciprocity. Giving pleasure for the sole purpose of seeing your loved one delighted brings a joy that transcends the physical act itself. This kind of connection is rare and precious, and when it happens naturally, it creates an almost electric atmosphere that deepens the emotional and physical bond between two people. We've both experienced times when one of us is comfortably lying down on a mattress, the floor, or even a couch, while the other focuses entirely on bringing them pleasure. In those moments, the giver sometimes finds themselves swept up in the excitement, moving instinctively, caught in rhythms of passion, desire, and connection. It's an experience fueled by genuine love and the pure desire to make the other feel valued and desired. This energy is contagious, making the intimate moment not just something physical, but an expression of profound emotional closeness. One of the biggest pitfalls couples encounter is entering physical intimacy under the illusion that they already know everything there is to know about their shared experience. The truth is, intimacy is an ongoing exploration, one that evolves with each passing year, season of life, and even daily mood. What thrilled you at one point might seem dull or even uncomfortable later on, and without openness to change and growth, partners can become stuck in patterns that limit their connection. Expecting your partner to always accept what you offer without dialogue or adaptation stifles potential joy and satisfaction for both people. Instead, intimacy flourishes when both individuals are willing to learn, adapt, and truly listen to each other's changing needs. As time moves forward, the realities of life begin to intercede. Marriage, children, jobs, and everyday responsibilities take up space in your life, demanding attention, energy, and focus. Homes fill with noise and activity, and the once frequent moments of privacy and playful closeness become fewer and farther between. These pressures often quietly chip away at the intimate connection couples once enjoyed. The busyness of life leaves less mental space for spontaneity and vulnerability. Yet it is precisely in these moments of busyness that intentional communication about physical and emotional closeness becomes so important. Reinvesting in that connection requires effort, dedication, and mutual understanding. While navigating these changes, we also embarked on a journey of spiritual growth, joining a faith community and adopting new values that shaped how we viewed relationships, love, and physical intimacy. Along the way, we encountered a variety of opinions and teachings, some from friends, some from leaders, and many from books and sermons. The challenge was to sift through these voices to find guidance that honored both our faith and the unique nature of our partnership. Not every piece of advice resonated or felt right for us, and we learned the importance of discerning what works for your relationship, rather than rigidly adhering to ideas that may not fit. By sharing these reflections, we hope to underscore the significance of honest and open communication as the bedrock of intimacy. Without it, relationships risk stagnation and misunderstanding, but with it, partners are empowered to explore one another's desires, fears, and hopes, creating space for joy and satisfaction that deepens over time. Intimacy is not a fixed destination, but an unfolding journey that thrives when guided by listening hearts and willing spirits. In choosing to embrace this ongoing discovery, couples invite richer connection, renewed passion, and the kind of closeness that nurtures both body and soul. In many relationships, a lack of fulfillment in physical closeness can lead to feelings of frustration and disconnection. I have known friends who strongly disliked certain intimate acts, and in some cases, this discomfort extended so far that they eventually stopped sharing physical moments with their spouses altogether. On the other side, some men I know have felt defeated and unwanted because their efforts seemed to fall short, leaving them questioning their worth and the health of their marriage. These experiences highlight an important truth. Entering into marriage is not just about commitment in words, but about building a monogamous partnership that embraces both emotional and physical intimacy. When one partner refuses or withdraws from fulfilling the intimate needs of the other, it creates a void that can foster feelings of loneliness, rejection, and even open the door to thoughts of infidelity. This is why it is so vital for couples to recognize that satisfying one another is a shared responsibility. It is not about imposing personal preferences, but about providing what your partner needs for connection and fulfillment. This requires mutual cooperation, vulnerability, and ongoing dialogue. Throughout our journey together, we have often referred to our personal sexual revolution, a transformation sparked by honest communication. This revolution didn't come overnight. It demanded that we both confront uncomfortable truths, shedding assumptions and rigid beliefs about intimacy. It meant discussing what actually brings pleasure, what turns us on, and what boundaries exist for each of us. One challenge many couples face is that during the courtship phase, people often withhold certain desires or preferences because they fear judgment or rejection. There's a natural inclination to present a polished, acceptable version of oneself to secure love and acceptance. But after marriage, carrying these unspoken needs and desires in silence can create unmet expectations and emotional distance. In some religious or cultural contexts, particularly within Christian marriages, there can be an added layer of restraint. Some desires or preferences may be viewed as unchristian or inappropriate, causing further hesitation to disclose what truly excites or pleases. This only makes honest communication more essential, because intimacy thrives on authenticity, trust, and acceptance. It's about creating a safe space where both partners can be heard and honored without shame or fear. One key mistake couples often make is assuming the authority to know what's best for the other without seeking their input. This assumption can stifle exploration and diminish satisfaction. Intimacy isn't a one-size-fits-all experience. What works wonderfully for one couple may not for another. For example, don't restrict your thinking to the idea that closeness should only happen in one location, like the bedroom. Moments of connection can be shared anytime and anywhere on a road trip, during quiet time at a park, or even sneaked in during social events. Breaking free from rigid expectations opens the door to fresh experiences and shared joy. As couples, we must remember that the vitality of our relationship depends on ongoing communication, sharing openly about what brings us happiness, what we wish to try, and what boundaries we want honored. It requires courage to express vulnerability and patience to listen without judgment. When both partners commit to this ongoing dialogue, they build a foundation that can endure challenges, enhance satisfaction, and deepen their love. Ultimately, fulfilling the intimate needs of a marriage is not a burden, but a blessing, a gift that continually renews itself when nurtured through honesty, respect, and genuine care. One of the most common missteps in sharing intimate moments is assuming that you know best what your partner desires or how things should be. This mindset can create barriers to true connection and understanding because it ignores the unique preferences and comfort zones that your partner may have. For example, many people think that moments of closeness must always take place within the privacy of a bedroom. While the bedroom is a natural and comfortable setting for intimacy, confining all expressions of affection and desire to this one place can unintentionally limit spontaneity and excitement. Intimate moments can be shared almost anywhere during a road trip where stolen glances and gentle touches become thrilling, or sneaking away to a quiet spot at a social gathering, turning a simple event into a private celebration of connection. Expanding the settings where intimacy can blossom helps to keep the relationship vibrant and adds an element of surprise that deepens desire. The art of bringing a partner, especially a woman, to her peak enjoyment relies largely on understanding and using gentle and attentive techniques. These might include the use of lips, tongue, and mouth in concert with fingers or other aids to provide layered sensations. One important thing I had to communicate to my husband was that a woman can come incredibly close to a climax only to have it slip away unexpectedly. This happens repeatedly in some cases, leading to frustration or discouragement. The key to navigating this is patience and persistence. If both partners maintain focus and avoid losing enthusiasm, the payoff can be an incredibly powerful release. This technique is commonly referred to as edging, where one brings themselves or their partner close to the peak, but then backs off to prolong and amplify the eventual climax. It is a natural biological response that can be experienced by all genders. Communicating what feels good is essential, and this extends beyond words. Auditory cues such as moans, whimpers, and cries serve to encourage and bolster a partner's confidence. Verbal guidance is equally crucial. Phrases like softer, harder, or lower direct the partner's actions to areas and pressures that bring the most pleasure. It's important to remember that focusing exclusively on the most obvious or sensitive spot doesn't encompass all the areas that contribute to satisfaction. Paying attention to the entire surrounding area and even neighboring regions like the inner thighs and pelvis can unlock deeper levels of enjoyment. Soft, sensuous touches in these areas often create an electric connection that enhances the overall experience. Once a woman experiences a truly amazing climax from a partner, it frequently ignites a desire for more. Throughout many sessions, I have found myself reaching multiple climaxes, sometimes 5 or 6 over the course of our shared time. These experiences often don't happen one immediately after the other, but can be spread over the duration of intimacy, combined with different forms of connection and stimulation. The physical energy and excitement might range from gentle holding and grinding to passionate movements, such as riding my partner in a playful but intense rhythm, fully immersed in the moment. Sometimes pinching nipples mine or his adds another layer of sensation that fuels the intensity. There are also times when extra help from a partner is needed, such as a firm grip on hips or buttocks, guiding movements that amplify pleasure. In addition to these more familiar techniques, exploring less conventional areas and methods can open new doors to satisfaction, provided both partners are comfortable and consenting. For example, inserting a lubricated finger in certain sensitive areas with patience and care can complement the overall experience. Similarly, gentle touch and attention to the surrounding regions can intensify sensations and build toward a more encompassing orgasm. When new activities are introduced, open communication about cleanliness, comfort, and willingness is paramount to ensure trust and mutual respect. As we have aged together, our experiences of physical intimacy have continued to evolve and improve. There have been challenges along the way, including health and emotional issues that at times slowed our connection. However, our love and enjoyment of being physically close remain deeper than ever. We have learned that intimacy is not about rigid routines or expectations, but about adapting to each other's needs, desires, and comfort levels. It is about maintaining openness and a willingness to explore as a team, making each moment meaningful and cherished. There is a multitude of resources available today that offer advice, tips, and guidance on sharing intimate moments with your partner. Videos, articles, and forums abound with ideas that may inspire you to try new techniques or approaches. However, despite the wealth of external information, the most vital ingredient for a fulfilling intimate connection remains honest and open communication between partners. No matter how many suggestions you find online or in books, nothing can replace the unique dialogue you share with the one you love. It's in this exchange of desires, boundaries, and feedback that the true magic unfolds. Trying new things is wonderful, but only when both partners are willing and enthusiastic does exploration become a source of joy and closeness. Mutual consent and eagerness are the foundation of discovering what truly brings pleasure and satisfaction in your relationship. Discovering the special places on your partner's body that elicit the greatest pleasure is not always intuitive. It requires patience, attention, and a willingness to experiment gently. This includes exploring not just the most obvious spots, but all the areas around and within reach that can contribute to their enjoyment. The difference between a merely pleasant experience and an extraordinary one often lies in the details, adjusting the pressure, changing the rhythm, or shifting the angle of touch just slightly. Through trial and attentive listening, you learn whether your partner prefers a light, fluttering stroke or a deeper, more vigorous caress. With time, these discoveries become a shared language of touch that speaks directly to passion and connection. When it comes to the use of fingers, or hands in general, the position and movement matter greatly. For some, a gentle curl of the fingers just inside can create a sensation that feels deeply satisfying when combined with attentiveness to external areas. Synchronizing hand movements with mouth and lip attention often elevates the experience, creating a multi-layered engagement that feeds both body and soul. Cleanliness and comfort are essential considerations here. Exploring new sensations only works well when both partners feel safe and respected. As we talk about less traditional areas of exploration, it's important to emphasize that comfort and consent are paramount. While some may initially feel hesitant about certain adventurous activities, like gentle touch or massage of more sensitive or rarely addressed spots, openness to trying these with clear communication can add unexpected richness. The bond deepens when both partners approach such experiences with trust, patience, and mutual respect. As the years pass, the landscape of physical intimacy naturally changes. Bodies adapt, energy levels fluctuate, and what once felt effortless may require more intention and care. For many men, for example, the time it takes to reach climax can lengthen, and the sensations may shift in intensity. Encouraging open conversation about these changes fosters understanding and helps partners to adjust their methods accordingly. Combining varied forms of stimulation, such as alternating between mouth and hand, can relieve fatigue and provide fresh sensations. Adding gentle touches in sensitive areas like nipples or others known to heighten pleasure can enrich the experience. Eye contact during intimate moments plays a surprisingly powerful role, enhancing emotional connection and making the encounter more vivid and memorable. Throughout our years together, sharing these experiences with openness and humor has helped us sustain a satisfying and joyful sex life. We offer these reflections not as absolute rules, but as an invitation for couples to be courageous in their communication and adventurous in their mutual exploration. When partners listen deeply and respond with tenderness to each other's needs, preferences, and boundaries, they create a space where intimacy thrives. This is the foundation of a loving, lasting connection that evolves and deepens over time, bringing continual discovery and mutual delight.